Hey, what's up? It's Nick Pagliochini, and you may recognize these stunning beauties to my right. We'll get to them in just a second, but what I want you to do is look behind me, especially if you're tuning in on YouTube, because you'll be able to take in the beauty that we weren't able to show you the last time we came down and visit Casa Romantica in San Clemente in South Orange County. It's another episode of In Conversation with Nick Pagliochini, and we're going to take a little bit of a deeper dive into what we may have missed earlier this year with Casa. We're going to check in with the directors, Jacqui and Kylie, and get a little bit of an update of what's going on with the landslide, and maybe get a review if you aren't familiar with exactly what happened back in 2023. So we'll go all over that stuff. It feels like 2022. That's why I'm saying, like, I don't know 100%. It was like 10 years ago. It feels so long, but there's so much happening that has happened this year. There's so much that is happening at Casa. So I want to make sure that we dive into it, but I would like you to re-meet these incredible beauties. If you would mind introducing yourselves, Jacqui.
Sure, I'm Jacqui Groseth, and I'm one of the executive directors here.
I am Kylie Travis, and I'm the other executive director here at Casa Romantica.
And they are truly the dynamic duo that helps to keep it all together. And I wish you were able to see what we talk about off camera. I wish you were able to see the enjoyment of each other's company, because we're in a world now in 2024 where there's a lot of frustration and there's a lot of challenges. And the two of you and the way you connect with each other, but also with your staff, your volunteers that come through Casa, is really, really impressive. So I highly commend you.
Thank
and having been able to experience that firsthand, we've made a few jokes of saying that it'd make some great after dark content. But realistically, at the end of the day, this place is special. And, I don't want to do the Nicole Kidman, we come to this place for magic, but it kind of is. Because there's something different and special, and we're on the coast, we're in South Orange County, we're slightly separated from the rest of Orange County, we're definitely separated from LA County, we're north of San Diego. There's so much involved with it. So, but in case you're curious to learn about Casa quickly, how do we find details about Casa Romantica? Just real quick, socials, website, all that fun stuff.
Our website is www.casaromantica.org, and our social media handle is at Casa Romantica SC. And our phone number, if you're old school, is 949-498-2139.
And their address is?
415 Avenida Granada, San Clemente, 92672.
And it's pretty wild because you come down here and it's in this beautiful residential area. You would have no idea. It really is a secret garden. And I'll be giving you a little bit of a tour and showing you around the property this time, because the weather is quite nice. As you can see, the lighting is beautiful, but being able to show it off a little bit more and show you exactly the courtyard and all the things that we weren't able to dive into last time. But let's talk, because we've got so much to cover. So we were here at the end of the winter, beginning of the spring, got an overview of what was to come, but talk to me about maybe start out with the landslide. Let's do a review of that and then be able to get an update of where you guys are now.
Yes, so last time you were here was a rainy day, which means that we had no work being done that day. And we had a really wet winter. And so to put it in perspective, even if we had one rainy day in winter, we lost one day for that. And then we would lose a day for prepping the slope for the rain, and then a day for, letting the slope dry out. So even for one day of rain, we would miss 3 days of work.
Okay.
So for as diligent as the crew was and the city workers and everyone, we still had a really wet winter, which kind of kicks back the end date of this project.
Okay.
So right now, the rain stopped pretty much, I would say, 3 weeks ago. So they've been really, really working as quickly as possible. We're on the 4th row of tiebacks, which is the last row of tiebacks.
And remind us what tiebacks are.
Tiebacks are the opposite of caissons. So caissons go vertical, tiebacks are horizontal. So essentially they drill giant holes into the slope that are between 80 and 120 feet deep. And then they put in kind of these giant rebar pieces with different layers of grout. And then they take a tension machine, tension it to about 2,000 PSI. I hope that's correct. I'm not a civil engineer.
It's okay. I'm going to say that you sound so I will hard hat you right now. You're walking the construction site for us. That's perfect.
They cap it there.
Okay.
And we were supposed to get 4 rows of these tiebacks, and originally it was supposed to be about 56, 58 of them. I'm not sure the exact number that they've landed on. And so that's going between basically, if you were looking out at the ocean terrace, halfway there where the slide happened, all the way to our neighbors at Reef Gate.
Okay.
And then when that's done, they're going to create a keyway, which is kind of a giant ditch for draining and basically to bustle up the bottom. And then they're going to regrade it back up.
That's wild. Just
right now,
wild.
they're about a third of the way done with the fourth row. When they're all the way done with the fourth row, they're going to run a lot of numbers on slope stability, and then we'll have a better idea of when we can open. They're hoping, if the weather works out and, Mother Nature works out, it's sometime this fall.
That's exciting.
Yes, it's
that has
very
to be
exciting.
so nice to see that on the horizon.
Yes.
Even if Mother Nature doesn't play nice
Yeah.
at certain points, it's still nice to kind of have that light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. The further down the slope you get, the more answers you get.
Sure.
And so it's easier for us to navigate our part in this, knowing that.
Okay. I love it. Now, we're here in the summer season. Obviously, schools are getting out all across the Southland, around the country. And we talked about it briefly because you have a lot of new programs that are actually getting ready. We talked about it before and kind of did the tease. Now they're here, like some of these new programs that are going to be coming from the summer season. Let's talk about what will be happening at Casa for summer.
Yeah. Do you want me to do this? Are you tired of hearing me talk? Yeah. Okay.
I never tire of hearing you talk.
I tire of it all the
This
time.
is when I was making that reference point. I think, it's well worth tuning in to see the interactions because you can hear the joy between them. But that's it. Like, you're able to really see that
Just
so
grab
many
it from
times
me.
that there are opportunities where you don't have this interaction point.
Yeah.
You have really great professional titles. You're both really great professionals with incredible backstories. You can always check out earlier this year and get the backstory on both Jacqui and Kylie. But you're so approachable. And so many times when you think of something with a beautiful long name like Casa Romantica Cultural Center and Gardens, it sounds a bit stuffed shirt.
Yeah.
It sounds a bit unapproachable. And I think it's so nice to see that the people behind it have hearts, have passion, have, a laugh, a great laugh, wonderful smiles. But that's
We should
it.
have you come here more often. This is
I'm
nice.
your new
this every morning.
So I will be doing the morning affirmations here at Casa Romantica. If you so choose to come visit during the summer, admission cost is what, $5 for?
Free for members.
Free for members.
Membership
And
is
we're going to
always
talk
available.
about membership because I would definitely want, that's for me. And I think that's something that I'll say briefly here, having had Mother's Day just passed, we've got Father's Day coming up, and you've got the holidays, not that part. Trust me, they will be here. And I don't if you go to Costco, you've already seen the decorations that are out.
Yeah.
So the holidays will be here sooner than later. And I always think that membership is a great opportunity, both to, let's be real, get a little bit of a tax write-off maybe, but also it's a really, really good opportunity to support your local community.
Yeah.
And you always have that person that's hard to shop for, whether it's a birthday or Mother's Day or Father's Day or the holidays. And this is a really great opportunity because it's the gift that keeps on giving, and not to use cliched terms like that, but it really is. You can drop in here. It's free.
On the bargain.
Yeah, it's totally a bargain.
$75.
Let's just jump into membership now. Let's do it.
For two people for an entire year to come any day that you want for free, to get discounts on all of the cultural events that we have, which are a lot. It's it pays for itself. There's weekly classes. We have yoga. We have meditation. We have dance that Kylie teaches. Yeah. There's so many things that you can take advantage of for $75 a year for two people.
Which is nothing.
It's nothing.
Because
if
we look at it realistically, for an average couple or two people to go to the movie theater now, it's at least $50 because it's between anywhere. If you get a matinee and you're lucky, you're looking at in the teens of dollars, but you're looking $25 minimum.
2 hours of entertainment or 2.5 hours of entertainment, not come, bring your lunch, sit out on the lawn kind of thing.
And I think that's it. I think what you're saying is there's opportunity here to find it, and not, it's people, I don't, I've got two left feet. That's fine. There's many, many other opportunities that are here for you to come in and be a part of. So that's great.
Absolutely.
So
talk about some of the other programs.
Oh yeah, we can get back to that.
Yeah, talk about the summer program. Let's see what we got coming up for the summer season.
All right, so this summer's theme was Blockbuster Summer.
Okay.
And so we're celebrating that time in cinema, which it sadly doesn't really exist now. I guess Barbenheimer would have been the closest to that. Where people were so excited for summer movie lineups. So we picked all of our favorite blockbusters to show, and we showed in the courtyard. You bring your own blankets, lawn chairs, dinner, and hang out. We're showing E.T., we're showing Dirty Dancing, we're showing Grease, and then we're showing Empire Strikes Back or A New Hope. I can never remember which Star Wars it is.
Okay.
It's the one that we could get the rights to.
I respect that. Totally get it.
And then we're pairing a couple of those movie showings with concerts. So if you come to the Grease showing on Tuesday, that Thursday we have a 50s themed concert. Okay. If you're going to Dirty Dancing on Tuesday, we have an 80s themed concert that Thursday. We have our first time of having creative camp here.
Okay.
Which is a 4-week camp just on Mondays, just for 3 hours as an introductory kind of performing arts camp for kids ages 7 to 10. So they'll do a vocal class, a dance class, and a visual arts class. And they don't need any experience. They just get to come in and kind of dabble in all of those. And speaking from experience, there's not a lot of places that will have kind of that entry level kind of letting kids at like 10 years old try arts for free. I'm sure there's lots of private studios and institutions that kind of have similar programs where they kind of get to sample a multitude of those things, because at that point, a lot of people have already been training in the arts. So it's nice that we kind of allow kids to come and kind of just play and try out certain visual and performing arts. And then if they're, moved to keep going, they can keep doing that. And one of the great things is some of our partnerships are local dance teachers or visual artists. So then if they, enjoyed the experience here, then we can kind of refer them to local businesses to keep, going with that passion to learn. So that would be our kids program. That's this year. This bee is loving me right now. I'm taking it as a sign.
If you're tuning in and you're listening to this and you're the audio only version, we're sitting outside of Casa Romantica in San Clemente. It's absolutely beautiful, stunning. It is like the most picturesque day, which, it may appear a little gloomy, but the lighting is fantastic. And I think that's also something just to dip into real quick. If you want to come do photography here,
oh yes,
you have a really great garden. You have so much around. And it really is a nice opportunity for you to do that. Now, to go back to the children's program before we get away from that, do you have to be a member, or is that so you can do that? And
it's completely free.
Okay,
So we are at capacity for this season because we were doing a pilot program.
Sure.
We weren't sure. With any program, you're not sure what the need is in the community when you launch it. And so we just did it 1 4-week program, but we're definitely going to do more next summer.
Okay.
Because it clearly was well received, and we're very excited about it. So we have a wonderful vocal instructor, Lark Knowles. We have Natalie Jameson, who runs Jameson Dance Company in South Orange County. And then we have Kelly Gallagher, who is a local artist. So we have a wonderful lineup of instructors. And I'm just excited to have kids back here in the summer. We used to do summer programming as long as I've been here, but we couldn't last year because we weren't really sure where they were going to be able to go and how that would work out. So I'm just excited to have them back. They bring a whole new energy level here.
That's true. With my nieces who live in San Clemente here, yes, I know exactly the different level that they bring.
Yeah.
So, with all of that, what is there to look forward to that's coming up? Because, so we've got that idea. Oh, that was my other question that I did have. When you were doing your pilot program, was it strictly San Clemente residents, or was it anyone that was able?
Anyone that's willing to come here.
Which I think is even bigger because that's like a huge community. I mean, we definitely want to talk to those that are from San Clemente because that's obviously this backyard.
Yeah.
But to be able to have that, maybe somebody's visiting for the summer, maybe somebody's doing a drop-in. So planning ahead for next year when you bring the program back and have more expansion, grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle who have kids that are visiting or cousins, it's a great thing to think about. Hey, also, and let's be real honest on this one, sometimes you need a break. Mom and dad.
You need 3 hours.
Right, correct. So, and I say that in the most genuine way because the kids are going to love being with other kids. They're going to love dipping their toe into these things, or they're going to love showing off their skill set if they already have experience. But it gives you a little bit of a break as well.
Yeah.
As somebody who's here, either a member or a non-member.
Yeah.
So.
The other thing that's really cool about the program, and I don't want to lose sight, we need to tell you about the dance program as well.
Sure.
Which is different. But the kids program, it's 1 day a week. And so many camps and things that you sign your kids up for, it's like this 2-week commitment. And, it's usually the soccer camp is this 2 weeks and the other camp is this 2 weeks. And the family goes, we're not going to be able to get away for 2 days to go do something.
Right. Yeah.
Because ours is once a week for 4 weeks, it gives a lot of flexibility for families, which is really unique and special.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good point, and I'm glad you shared that because it really does give versatility to the summer. You're not locked into something long term, and it's a really good and unique and different opportunity in that regard. So,
do you want to tell about the dance?
Yeah, I can tell about the dance. We're doing the second year of our college dance program. It's something we launched last year, and unfortunately last year we had to do it at the community center because we weren't sure what was happening at this point last year. But it is a 3-night program that we work with 6 different colleges and universities to send an instructor, and it could be for a actual dance movement class or it could be for a dance lecture class. But really it's geared towards high schoolers that kind of want to begin to understand what a commitment to higher education is in the arts, for people that may not be aware of how this goes. And it's gotten a little bit better since I was going into college. But if you're in a sport, if you're in baseball or if you're in soccer, they send scouts to high school games. And then you can easily get scouted in high school, and the scout explains the program, and then you usually get your pick of schools. Well, if you are going to audition for a university to be in their dance program, that's all you get typically is an audition. And I did mine for Chapman, and you literally walked in, you danced, and then you left. And if you grow up in a competitive background or you grow up in a commercial background, which is very typical for a lot of the teens in our area, you have no idea the culture shock when you get into higher education, because the ideology and the themes of dance at that level are just very different. You're learning about dance history, you're learning about modern, which a lot of kids don't train in modern, but that's a big basis of institutions where we live. And not to mention, Southern California has some of the best dance programs in the country, and they're all a matter of 10, 20 miles around each other. So we have commitments right now from Cal State Long Beach, which is an amazing program, Cal State Fullerton, Chapman University, also Bachhaus Dance Company, which is a professional dance company. So because they work together, they come with information about both of those programs for the students. Saddleback and Orange Coast College, as well as IVC. And a lot of the instructors that they send, they also teach at other schools, so they're willing to answer questions. But it's just these slots, there's 2 schools each night, and teens can start taking it at 15 years old and 16 years old. They might change what they want to do, but I just think it's really important before you decide probably the biggest decision of your life, you should have this safe space to ask questions and to try new things, especially with something that's it's a physical commitment. It's not just a financial and life commitment. It's your body has to commit to this program to make it through. So I haven't seen a program like this. That's why I wanted to create it, because I grew up dancing and I would have really benefited from something like this. But last year it was amazing. We had about 20 students, and we're going to have it here this year, regardless if the interior is open or not, because I've been teaching in the courtyard at night. It's so much fun. I love dancing here anyway. I think it's a great place to dance. But our courtyard has AstroTurf, and it's actually really bouncy and really nice to dance on. So I'm excited to roll that out this year. But we also have, I was thinking, if you wanted to talk about Kenton's exhibition, because I left that out, if you want to jump
that'd be
there.
lovely. Let's go for it.
Absolutely. So Kenton Nelson, his art is going to be up in our gallery starting the 20th.
Sure.
Yes.
Of June.
We'll go with that. June 20th.
June 20th, 2024.
And what's so wonderful about Kenton Nelson, he is world renowned. If you look him up, his art is amazing, and you've seen it on the cover of magazines, in the back of sets of shows like Mad Men. He's just got this very unique look to his artwork. He didn't even start painting until he was 40, so he's got a really great story. And Kenton and his wife lived up in the Pasadena area for years.
Oh, okay.
And that's kind of where they grew up and everything. And their daughter was going to school down south of here, and they just happened to be passing through San Clemente. And
as one does.
Spent an evening here, spent the night here, fell in love with it, and moved. Yeah. So they now are residents here in San Clemente. They're so excited to be here, and they're very supportive of Casa Romantica. So they love architecture. They love old Spanish architecture. So it was like a match made in heaven. He actually found us and wanted to be able to paint here and show here. They're very generous with their time. The sales of his art, we receive 20% of all of the sales
Now
of his
that's
art,
incredible.
which is amazing.
That really is very generous.
He's done a poster that you can buy in our gift shop. So they're just wonderful, wonderful people, and we're very excited to have him here. I'm very honored to have him here. He's amazing.
Okay, so that might be another in conversation coming here in the
Yeah,
future, because
absolutely.
I really think I love Casa Romantica since I have been privileged to be a part of this extended family, if you will. And whether you don't want me as a cousin,
You
that's,
can be
you
here.
don't get a choice.
Yeah.
But
We
I
totally
think
do.
that's what I really like about it. It's so different because I work with a lot of different organizations around Southern California, and all of them very worthy of time, energy, effort, financials, the whole nine. Casa is very different. And just because you came on my radar because you lost half your hillside,
Yeah.
you came on a lot of people's radar because you lost half your hillside. And I think it's to be able to have that special opportunity to take a beat and take a breath and sit down and learn about what's been happening here over the decades that the Casa has been around,
Yeah.
and then seeing where you're moving forward to is a big part. And I think that's a great transition into, if you are visiting and watching the video, you can see there's something coming up this fall that I'm very excited about, and I will be a part of, thanks to the incredible team here at Casa Romantica. But Toast to the Casa Renaissance is a 22nd annual, well, it is their 22nd annual fundraising gala. So fill me in on all the details about what's coming up this fall.
So much fun. So Toast to the Casa, as Nick said, is our biggest fundraising event of the year. We do a lot of different things to raise funds, but this is the big gala. This is where everybody dresses to the nines, comes out to have fun. It is not a stuffy, sit down and have a chicken dinner at a table kind of an event. It is a wonderful, fun, free for all with food vendors and wine vendors set up all over the campus where you can go and grab something to eat, talk with friends, auction items, live auction, games. And this year's theme is Renaissance. Because it's kind of been a Renaissance year in many ways.
We're rebirthing.
Yeah, it's our Renaissance. Casa Romantica's Renaissance. So we're very fortunate to have not one, but two gala chairs this year, honorary chairs. Eddie and Maggie Chang and Hal and Gail Higgins are going to do this together, which is, you'll get to know them, and they're amazing. And so it's very appropriate that they're going to be doing that with us. It's on September 21st. And as Kylie shared a little bit earlier, we're hoping that we have our main salon open by September. She has 3 plans. So there's the plan,
I love it.
the
A,
backup
B, and
plan,
C.
and
Yes,
the
that's good.
backup plan. But we will have Toast to the Casa here at Casa Romantica this year, no matter what. We were off campus last year, and it's not the same. People had a great time, and they were very generous, but we want to be home.
And I get that.
So we will be home.
And I think, and when you reference it is a Renaissance year for you, and as an organization, as a group, that's a huge part of it.
There may be a dragon somewhere. There may be a knight on a horse. You just never know what you're going to find.
See,
at
this
the
is
gala.
something that's fun. And I think that so many, and I loved your reference, it might as well be the airplane chicken and a stuffed shirt event. This really is something special. And I think if somebody was interested in supporting now, so getting ready before the gala, are you taking sponsorships? Are you taking, how does that all work? So talk to me about all that.
If you have cash, we'll take no.
That's okay. My wallet's over there.
So for Toast to the Casa, you can buy tickets now. You can go online and buy tickets to Toast to the Casa at our website. But before we get there, we're actually, this is a fun time of year for us because our fiscal year ends at the end of June 30. So we start, so we get down, as all nonprofits do, but you get down to that last month and those last weeks of your fiscal year. And June 30 comes and you are grateful for the amazing outpouring that you've got, and you hit reset and you start all over again on July 1. So, and it's been interesting for us even planning because, the programming and the things that Kylie was sharing, those are typically done 18, 24 months out. Well, when you don't know what space you have, it's really hard make those plans. So we've had to, adjust and change scheduling and do all that we can to make maximum use of the space that we know that we have today, and to the greatest extent possible, allow for expansion of that as soon as we possibly can. So it's been tricky, but
That's a good word.
but at the same time, kind of fun. It just, you roll with what you are given to roll with. So it is the end of our fiscal year. It's been challenging in a lot of ways, fundraising wise and expense wise. Our business model has kind of been turned on its head for the last 12 months. But we're close. We're really close. And
we can take more money.
Yes, we can take more money.
I was going to say, and I think that's the thing too. And the hardest part is, and I think you've given a lot in the explanation of, there's a lot of things that are offered for free.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And while you have those opportunities to be able to give back to the community, we all have operating costs.
Yeah.
We all know what it's like to have monthly bills. And just because this is a stunning place with many benefactors, that doesn't mean that you still don't need a little extra help to keep
Right.
the lights on. So I think that's what a lot of us forget.
Yeah.
We see this beautiful place with all these naming plaques of people who
Yeah.
have bought benches. We don't really think about what does a day-to-day operating cost look like. You work with so many volunteers here. You know, you do have a staff and you have people that get paid, but there's a lot of volunteer work that happens.
Yeah.
And a lot of that also needs an influx of something to support it. And while it's incredible to have the community at your back, you also need to help keep the coffers full.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I understand that completely. I think
Yeah.
that's a really important aspect.
Yeah, I think a perfect example. The house is almost 100 years old. So she needs a lot of work a lot of the time. And we are dealing with this when our wonderful operations manager was walking the site and realized we had these really old yucca trees right behind you that were now starting to break this wall.
Okay.
And also trying to break the wall by our art gallery and by our admin. And that was immediately another $8,000-9,000 cost
Right.
that we had to add because it's better than repairing a 100-year-old wall if we let the trees go. And that's just one example of the things that we deal with aside from the landslide. We usually do kind of an end of year spring renewal fundraiser each year. Because the house just needs so much work, whether it's refinishing the floors or fixing piping or fixing electrical or, fixing our event lighting and everything that we rely so heavy on this space or the ice machine. I mean, there's a million things.
I think what sounds funny is, and I hope that as you're listening to the podcast, as you're watching the podcast, you're thinking about how much is involved with your own maintenance and upkeep, really,
Yes,
of your home.
exactly.
Whether you're a homeowner, you're a renter, there are those unforeseen costs that we all encounter. And I don't want to sound like we're, on a telethon, but it is an idea that I've learned through the last 2 years of doing This Weekend with Nick Pagliochini and in conversation this year. There's so much that I didn't know. And I like to think that I am worldly, and I have learned that I am not. And I only say that genuinely because we all think we know more than we do. And then you go in there and you hypothetically get your hands dirty and you realize, wow, I had no idea the operating costs or how incredible the amount of time, energy, effort, and finances are required to put these things together and to, as you said, maintain an incredible historical site like Casa Romantica. When I get to come in here, I get to see, a dance class, I get to see, a quartet perform, and I get to go home.
Yeah.
Then all the lights come on, and, it's the end of the night at 2 a.m. when the lights come on at the bar, and now you see the cracks, and you see all the
Or
maintenance
you got to
things
run
and
the
everything.
skunk back out into
That's
the garden.
correct. So
That's
I
happened.
think that's all part of those things that we don't see. And I think that's why this is a special opportunity to kind of go behind the scenes of Casa and other special places around Southern California to find out how we maintain these for future generations. And I think that's my bigger focus. And I think that's what the Toast to the Casa
100%.
specifically helps with. Outside of all the, the fiscal year ending and everything else, it's just continuing to remind people what an incredible thing is in our backyard, and we need to support it and help it. Just like when you have children that are growing up and they need education and food and clothing, when you have a garden that you care for, you need to water it and, feed it and everything else. This is one of those opportunities.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
I think that's great. And something to share with you is that I can't tell you quite yet, but trust me, there's a very good likelihood that if you come out for the gala, you may very likely see me and some other familiar voices or faces from Southern California. So to wrap it up for today, talk to me about one more time where we can help to support Casa Romantica,
Yes.
where we can go on socials, how we find out more details about
You're the support lady.
Ooh, okay. Easiest way to support us is go on our website. Again, that's casaromantica.org, and hit that donate button. That's the very easiest. Buy a membership, bring your friends, come to a cultural event. All of those are things that support us. And every time that you bring someone here, you're introducing someone who may not know about us to how wonderful this place is. And that's really, at the end of the day, what makes our jobs fun and easy. We love when someone comes in for the first time and says, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I'm going to come back. How do I get involved? So that we just want more of that. And so to the extent that you can do that and support us financially through any one of those ways that works for you, we would be so grateful.
That's fantastic. And I think if you need any additional details, as always, thisweekendwithnick.com. Check out the show notes, the link in bio at Nick Pagliochini and This Weekend with Nick on Instagram. And with these two lovely ladies who I love spending time with, cannot wait to visit you again. But as always, Jacqui, Kylie, and for me, we hope to see you out and about this weekend.